proprietary kind of source code in there that I have to do my own source code in to be able to do that kind of overlaid diamond lattice, so to speak. So what it enables you to do is, if you see the tracking of the candles within each zoning, that is derived from very many different techniques with as many elements of validity that I can do myself. So say, for instance, you're in a bearish wedge and you're coming to the end of it. This is then where I would start to overlay my kind of, I suppose how I'd call it, my kind of sequential diamond overlay. And this allows me to really track the movement of the candles at the end of the bearish wedge to determine, A, is this going to break out? B, is this going to break down and fail support and continue to go downwards, in which case I'll be looking for, say, for instance, the 0.236 fib level. If that fails, then I know it is essentially going to go down further. However, you do sometimes have bull traps whereby the big boys will sell off. It will appear to fall out of the bearish wedge, but then it will very quickly readjust and it will fall back into it. So this is why I use my kind of zoning levels to determine and to validate based upon the time marker of the candle, which is pertinent to the time frame of the trend. You can very quickly ascertain and validate if any candle movement is really accurate. So with IOTA, what I did was I realized that it was since the all-time high, which again, just to add a bit of validity and credibility, I called that out very successfully. Was the way that I did that was I tracked the movement of the bearish wedge, and then what I'd done was I then draw another wedge. So say, for instance, if you have a bearish trend, which is in the period of a week capacity, you would then start to, when you feel there might be a breakout, you would do a bearish wedge, but on a daily time frame and then an hourly time frame, and then you can further break down your wedges, and then you can further add the kind of sequential diamond overlays which derive from the kind of techniques that I've just said, and you can very evidently see as to the areas of what would be a safe trade zone and what is not a safe trade zone. So for the charts that I put up, it is a mere visual representation whereby I do not want to, I try to negate against giving any definitive entry or exit points, because there is a duty of care to the users who, for some unknown reason to me, because I get all my charts off Wikipedia and TradingView, I'm joking, there's a duty of care to make sure that, although I'm not a financial advisor and I'm not in any way, shape or form tangible to give advice, despite my personal life, I don't want people to be in financial deficit or make a bad trade. All I can do is hope that they follow the charts and they see the progression of the candle movement. So what I'll do for you is I will send you a DM, or I can put it in the TA room just as a reference point of what I said, of how I very easily tracked the bullish momentum of IOTA. Then it hit the 0.0618 fib level, which is very critical and key in trading, because between each Fibonacci level, Fibonacci is derived from a sequential pattern of numbers, which derives from the two precipitating numbers, and it then gives you your following number. So for instance, you have 0, 1 is 1, 1 and 1 is 2, 2 and 1, so on and so forth. Between each of those numbers, you will find that is a 1.618 difference between each number. Now, this is very key in Fibonacci resistance and trying to ascertain movement. So when you hit a 0.618 fib level on any trend, if it bounces off it or if it goes through it, this is very, very significant. And this is what will always inform my first point of the systemic process I use to do the visualization that you see. So again, if I was to post a chart as to how I get to those diamond overlays, it's just messy. It's inundated because it requires so many tech indicators and so many various other things that I strip them down. And what you are left with is essentially the carcass of what is the most essential, I think, for any new amateur, is to be able to have a visual and not necessarily the quantitative data. But I think there's a need for both in terms of with how Elisa charts to a very good high standard and provides what I would do in my own personal charting, but the charts that I provide are merely a visual representation of Elisa's charts. But there are charts that I make public, and there are charts that are of my own personal use, just down to it takes a long time to learn this stuff, and it comes with a lot of time, effort, and hours to source code your script, which you then implement into your preferred trading platform, whether it be TradingView, whether it be Coinigy or the MT4 Forex trading platform. So I hope that adds a bit of depth, but it all derives from your fib levels, your moving average, depending on the coin duration and the trend. Is it the 50-day moving average, the 25? Is it the 256 moving average? Are we talking about the exponential moving average? It gets really quite complicated, but that is essentially how you form it. It's an amalgamation of many, many, many different things to then give you that visual that you see. It takes a long, long, long time to a good couple of hours to really narrow it down to a chart like that. But it's easily achievable. Anybody can learn that. Do not be under the illusion if anybody says to you it takes years and years and years. It does not. All it takes is just persistence and willingness to want to learn as much as you can. And if you have the time, and I know a lot of people have full-time jobs, but if day trading or intraday trading is your job and your main source of income, then every day, even myself, as per this is my job as well as other things, I still do 2 to 4 hours research every day because we're always learning, we're always making mistakes, and the quicker you make mistakes, the quicker you can reflect and then address your strategy in terms of how you trade and also the way that you chart. So I hope that gives a bit of depth there.
Hey, thanks a lot. Yeah, I'm gonna follow a bit more and then dig deeper into it and see how it goes for me.
I think I don't know if anybody else would have any different opinions, because there's a lot of expertise in here. But for me, it all starts with candles, and candles really do give away a story. Now, candles don't always give away the full story because I was just talking with Constantine, and the thing is, with crypto, there is a large element of manipulation. Now, if you consider GDAX, where you have a lot of bots and whales and automation and fake buy sell orders, it becomes very, very hard to interpret whether the candle movement and also the progression of the trend is really organic or if it's superficial. Now, there are ways as to whether you can determine that, but again, it becomes very complex. But what I would advise is look into your just look into the candles, try and understand what they mean. What does the wick mean? What does the body mean? um, why is it red? Why is it green? Because the open and the close price of the candle will be at the top or the bottom depending if it's bullish or bearish, and this is something that people often get wrong. So it's the basics like that. It all lies within, if the market really is organic and it's true movement of liquidity, the candles give you a very, very good insight. The candles really are so important, and that should always be your first point of call before you start to do any technical analysis, is that you need to understand what the candles mean. And also, the most important thing in relation to candle analysis is there are certain candles that are very indicative of a reversal. And dojis are our best friends. A doji really is very key and significant in any trend if it's organic. It really is. So I would advise to look at your candles. Many resources out there. And that would be a very good starting point for yourself as a person who wants to learn technical analysis. Look at the candles and what they mean. I really can't reiterate the importance of that to so many people. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks. We do. I'm not that yeah newbie, but then I think I really have to look back again at all those positions and trends, candles, what they mean. But because in crypto, it's really difficult, as you've said, because there are too many manipulations, and even if it's a grave week, for example, then it does not necessarily say that it's gonna be bearish, so sometimes even a long grave week week I mean it's still a bullish movement after that. So um yeah, in order to understand everything, and it's kind of hard to even put the manipulation element into the charts. Like
It
it's just,
really is.
yeah.
And this is where I always say, depending on whatever time marker you're using, as per any rule that I go by, is I always want to have a two candle confirmation if I think there's going to be a reversal to whatever side, or if I think there's going to be a period of sideways consolidation. The way that you ascertain this is depending on what time frame it will be. You can very easily validate a reversal by I don't want to go into too much because I don't want to mislead you, and this is something just to research. Even if the market is manipulated heavily, which it is, you can still overcome that. You cannot always beat the market. However, you can work with the market, with the candles, if you know how to draw just across three candles a line. Okay, so when you have a three candle formation, you want to be looking at if there's a reversal to the bearish side. You know that you want the third candle to be resting below the line that you have dragged across from the first candle, which was higher. If that candle then resides above that line, then you know it is not a 100% bearish validation. So I always advise that if people can do candle analysis, is that we always want a period of at least two candle confirmation, and you also want to be drawing your line across the precipitating two candles, and you want to see where the final candle, third candle, rests. Does it rest on that line, or does it rest and close above that line on open high, as opposed to the first candle which closed on a low? Those kind of
Yeah.
things are also useful.
On what time frame would that be, and what are your favorite time frames?
The time frame really is dependent. The time frame it's kind of like this. It's a very generalized question. So it's kind of like how long is a piece of string. So the time frame. So for instance, with Bitcoin right now, I'm more concerned with the daily. Okay, that's all I care for right now is the daily, because there is going to be some bullish momentum throughout the 5 minute, the 15, the half hour, rah. However, I am wanting to find where the bottom is, essentially. So the time frame that you use really is pertinent to the trading style that you're approaching. So if I'm going to scalp trade, I'm obviously going to use the 3 minute, the 5 minute, and the 50-minute candles. But more often than not, I use the 5 minute. And then if I really want to go down deeper into it, the minute candle. Although the minute candle is very hard to interpret because you'll get a lot of missed gaps and a lot of missed data due to the volatility. This is why you would start to use your exponential moving average in relation to that style of trading. Scalp trading, I think others would say and agree that 5 minute is a good time range. But it also depends if you're going short or long. It depends if you'll do margin or leverage positions. So it's a very hard question to answer. It's pertinent to your trading style and how long you want to be in that trade and what your position is.
Yeah, I get it, but so you would normally wait for one or two confirmation candles, and then you would go into your positions, right?
Yeah, so depending, so yeah, at least two candle confirmation, at least two candle. Now, the higher the risk or my risk to reward ratio in relation to what the trend is doing, I will then extend it to maybe four. However, I at least will only go off a trade, whether I enter, exit, short, go long, margin, leverage, whatever it may be. I want two candle confirmation after what appears to be a movement in the direction I suspected, but I will not enter because I negate against that risk. So it's much like if you see a cup and handle, the general rule is that you trade above 3 to 8% price of the handle, because what that means is that, say for instance, if you enter at the handle, but then there's all of a sudden a big drop, you are not going to fall privy to that, and you basically safeguard yourself. So it's all about you trade upon validation, much like a cup and handle. You trade above the handle, so you can draw a line across the cup. You see the handle form, and then you want to draw a diagonal line where the previous candle which precipitated the formation of the cup, and I know this is sounds very complex, it's not. You draw a diagonal line to then find your entry position, and you will find more often than not it tends to be 3 to 8% above the handle. But yeah, 2 candles is absolutely essential, but that's just my style, and my style works for me. It might not work for others, and it might also be flawed. It is not foolproof. It really is not.
Yeah. So yeah, you're basing on Fibonacci. So I assumed your exit strategy is gonna be based on Fibonacci's as well. What is the proportion of your exit based on Fibonacci's?
So as to when I exit, it depends upon what my risk to reward ratio is, and for each dollar, for each pound, or if I'm trading against a Satoshi, whatever it may be, there is an expectance that I want at least a 1-to-2 ratio. It can be hard to get, but it is not a worthwhile trade for me if I cannot get a 1-to-2 ratio. So it really derives from my Fibonacci level, which precipitated the entry position, should really be telling me, if I've done it properly, where I need to exit. So I will base it upon. There's a great mentor said to me, and I still to this day have not taken this on board, and I need to. I'm stupid, and that is if you make profit, as soon as you make profit, you exit. This is what he said to me. This is a quite mature individual. He's in his 50s, had 30 years traded on Wall Street on the floor and progressed upwards. And he says to me, as soon as you enter into profit, even if it goes up a lot more, exit. Because if you make trade after trade after trade, and I say this for a lot of people who might not be newcomers, but are kind of still getting into this game, is that if you're making profit, take it and run. Because everybody can access the cryptocurrency trading scene. If you want to access the Nasdaq or the New York Stock Exchange, so on and so forth, you need a high amount of capital to get in there originally. With crypto, all you need literally is mere $5. So anybody can do this. So this is why where I take my profit, how I take my profit, there's just so many different approaches and so many different styles and techniques that I use that I do not think would be pertinent to any one single person out there, because we're all unique in the way that we trade and where we feel it's appropriate to take out our profit. So what I've started doing now is stop being greedy, really, because I have become quite greedy with some trades. Although I was quite lucky. Again, this is why you have your stop loss, your fill or kill orders, so on and so forth. So that's always negated against that. However, working on an Excel chart, which again, I have a script within that, I see that when I'm greedy, that is when I'm not making more Satoshis or making more fiat, or whether it's the S&P 500, the Forex, wherever it may be, I am not making nowhere near as much, as opposed to if I'm just gracious and take profit as soon as I go into the green. So again, it's a very hard question to answer. So I'm tending to take profit, especially in a bearish market, very, very quickly and with due diligence, and not overplaying it. So my risk management has increased massively right now. Whereas when the market was very bullish last year from September to December, my trading style then was very aggressive and very, very greedy, and it worked. But again, I never advise it. So yeah, I hope that adds a bit of depth to that question.
Yep. Gotcha. Thanks for your time.
You get caught up in some of these groups that are so focused on making a few points every few minutes. I found that it was very beneficial to me to zoom out all the time. Just keep zooming out, see the bigger picture, have some patience.
Absolutely. I think that's a very good key point to mention there, because sometimes, say for instance, with Bitcoin, it's rally up last year. I mean, it had 6 all-time highs in 6 weeks. It doubled its value, which is not healthy. But the point is, people cannot be disgruntled with Bitcoin and the price it went up to and the price it's at now, because what it's doing now essentially is it's safeguarding its longevity and its ability to find support, which was failed as per the 256 moving average. And even so, it appeared there's a big dip still. go to your chart, click all, zoom out, and you're still going to see that curvature going upwards. However, when you zoom in, you see these oscillations, these head and shoulders, and these horrible corrections that are so needed on a generalized context of the complete view of Bitcoin since it's been trading. It's still this curvature going up really, really nicely and quite eloquently. That if in doubt, zoom out. That is the saying. So yeah, to the gentleman who just said that, there is a very, very good point in times of worry.
Yeah, and it's always good to zoom out if you want to find really strong support and resistance as well, right?
Yeah, yeah, and yeah, 100%. But I won't. No, I redact that. I don't say 100%. 10 more times than not. Again, it all comes down to what the protocol is or what the coin is, because we need to consider that cryptocurrency essentially is being misinterpreted as currency. Although it does have fiat applicability of principality, they are all transmission data protocols. And I think this is where sometimes people kind of get the two confused, that essentially this has essentially become a new trading stock market within its own stock market, and now is intertwined with the institutional stock market. But some of these core protocols, which you see in the top 5, or some of the coins that have been around from dawn, were only ever here to never be traded in what we are seeing now, where you have these exchanges whereby your average person can become a trader. So it's all the variables and the parameters are the big key components as to how you interpret the coin. But generally speaking, if you zoom out with a coin that is reputable, has a good development team, has real life applicability, that is definitely a very good approach.
Interesting.
But believe me, I think there's many others in here that can probably add a lot more depth. And I'd always say, do not believe any single one person as to what their interpretation is. Even if they're really credible and validated, they are a reference point. And then go and do further cross-validation. That is something that I would always advise, because believe me, do not... just please always validate if you have the ability to do so. And I would always say for anybody who's kind of trading, is that if you make a succession of 3 to 5 bad trades, stop trading, take a week out, reflect upon your trades, go to the Forex MT4 platform, and you can get a 30-day free trial whereby you can do a simulated trade. So you can actually trade within real-time environment with 10,000 US dollars, which is just it's non-existent money, but you can reflect upon your trades that were very bad, and then you can try and, through a process of reflection and analysis of your style, try and find out where you went wrong, implement your change into your new trading approach on a platform with no risk, then enter back into your trading with your real fiat or your real crypto. I think that's also a good point, is to always go into sandbox mode and to always learn. If I make one single bad trade, then I will not trade for the rest of the day, and I will reflect upon that, and I will see where I went wrong. So I think it's always good to do risk management and also due diligence in making sure that levels of competency are kind of sustained, so to speak. That's just my approach, I think.
Yeah, absolutely.
But nonetheless, is everybody having a good day? Sorry, is everyone having a good day? Please speak up. Everything goes quiet when I come into any room. I always feel a bit eerie.
Yeah, I woke up to some really nice snow, man. The type of snow that just sits on every single branch quietly.
Nice.
Just beautiful.
Still waiting for that selfie, Alex.
Oh, man. I forgot. United came in here. I got all excited.
Let's not go there.
Oh, we went there.
We always seem to kind of go somewhere near there.
That's right. We're all family.
Andrew's gone silent on us again. Normally it's you and him having fun together.
He said he was on a call, I guess.
Oh yeah, true. Now he's got his 2 businesses. He's busy all the time. And
What about you,
Constantine.
Matt? How's your week going?
So has anybody got any kind of up and coming coins or anything that they feel this year is a great project? Because there's one that I've really been trying to make aware to a lot of people before I go, because I have to go in a second, and that is Gollum. GNT is a coin. That I'm very, very bullish for Gollum in terms of the developers behind that. Essentially have come from a very successful company which copyright images, so to speak, and copyright infringement. So essentially what they're doing is they've now designed a protocol whereby they can implement the metadata and then implement it into the blockchain, or utilizing the blockchain to then basically grep all images and metadata and then ensure I wouldn't say it's not really a protocol where consumers will be able to capitalize off. It's more for companies of image reproduction and also image rendering. So Gollum GNT I'm very bullish for. And before I go, another one also and very, very bullish for is Qtum. And the reason for this, IOTA also, but I won't go into that. But Qtum also, and the reason for this is very, very simple. Qtum is looking to essentially amalgamate the benefits of both Bitcoin and Ethereum. Now, that is a very, very exciting and very, very innovative project in terms of the cross-node signaling. So I just wanted to mention those 2 coins, which I don't think many people are aware of right now, in talking with some developers and some of the people I've been engaging with, that these 2 coins are very viable. And it's much like you see some of these coins creep out from nowhere and they're in the top 10 and then they drop down. This year, you are going to see these coins, and Qtum, you're starting to see a bit more of, but Gollum, GNT, those are 2 coins I'm heavily bullish on. Very good projects, very good protocols, solid development teams, and have real life applicability. IOTA is a whole different ball game. I'm so excited for IOTA this year. I know a lot of people have different reservations in light of the MIT peer review study, but IOTA, I'm very, very excited for this year. So that's just 3 coins that I'm really, really quite bullish on. But nonetheless, it's good to speak with you, and I look forward to getting to know some of you that I don't know. Safe trading, and see you soon.
Thanks, United. That Gollum looks really good.
And I hope you're right about Qtum. Qtum, I'm just more concerned with the whale action. I think that it's just spent such a long time fighting up against the 400K mark, and it doesn't seem to want to get through resoundingly so far.
This XRB Nano transaction from KuCoin is taking forever.
What, trying to transfer the money over there, or are you still
I'm
trying to
moving
buy
it to Binance to do the little trade there.
Oh, okay, you're trading on Binance, are you? I see.
Little arbitrage move, I guess.
Has it started trading on Binance now?
Not yet. Ticker's there, just no orders.
Wonder how long it's been there for.
I checked it the other day. It wasn't there, so I'll just make a guess that it's going to be up today.
Yeah, hopefully. So the movement will be more on Binance than it will be on KuCoin then, will it?
I suppose so, yeah. That's been the move that most of these coins have made, what I've seen. Just you got to be kind of ready for it.
Well, what coin is that?
Used to be XRB Rayblocks, now it's Nano.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I didn't actually think about transferring it over, but seems like too much effort to me. I'll just see what it does on KuCoin.
Yeah, it's they said it would take up to half an hour to do the transfer, but
KuCoin said that, did it?
yep.
Okay, I haven't transferred anything out of there before. I didn't know it actually told you. And it came down a little bit, but it's making quite a nice triangle, so we'll see where it goes. You get it on the dip?
Let's see what I got it at. No, not really.
Okay.
I was in panic mode.
Yeah, I didn't expect that. It went up quite quickly, so yeah, I guess I don't know if I actually looked to see if Bitcoin did something, and Bitcoin was just sort of going sideways. I'm not sure if probably people got scared.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Hey, how's it going?
Not bad, not bad.
Have I heard you speak before?
I'm not sure. I haven't been on chat in a while.
Mika.
Is that how you pronounce it?
Micah.
Micah.
Ah, I was right.
I've been on with Andrew and Pastor a couple times.
Okay. I just saw Pastor in the other channel and I moved him in here, but he hasn't engaged in conversation so far.
He's usually pretty talkative.
He is. But knowing his normal technology skills, he's probably wondering how he's moved in here. So tell me, why do you like Qtum?
They have a lot of partnerships with a bunch of big companies in China. A lot of news that should be coming out, what I've read.
Upcoming stuff as opposed to stuff that's already been released?
Yeah. See if I
Okay,
can
cool.
find what I...
I saw one about Starbucks a week or two ago, but that didn't seem to, because they sort of release their news privately in Telegram and on Discord. Unless you
Yeah.
sort of happen to see it, it's kind of hard to follow what they're actually doing, which is, I think, really good in a way.
Yeah, I agree. I like that they don't hype. Then you don't get pump and dumps, then you get more of a natural growth.
Yeah, completely agree. But like I said, actually, no, you weren't here before. There are whales on this. I think they're trying to keep it below 40, which is irksome.
Okay, I found the article that I was reading a couple weeks ago on QTOM.
Are you putting it in the lobby or news or somewhere?
Yeah, you want me to put it in news?
Yeah, why not?
Okay. Kind of an overview of what they have going that's going to be going well for them all year.
Oh, and they've got the Pink Floyd album cover. Right, sold.
Yeah.
I'm going to see Roger Waters in Perth in a couple of weeks' time. I think excitement is too much.
Oh, where at?
Perth, in Perth in Australia, where I
Nice.
live. Yes, I've seen him here once before a few years ago. I love him, love Pink Floyd.
Me too. Don't make good music like that now.
No, sadly not. It's dumbed down like crypto.
True that.
I'm trying to read this, but my computer's decided to freeze. I like them grouping Qtum with Ethereum. That makes me happy.
Yeah, and that ink company that's building on QTOM sounds really promising.
Company?
Ink? INK?
Oh yeah, I think I have heard of that.
They have a lot of Russian money pumping into them.
And Russia does have money. I was reading about the link between Qtum and Bitcoin and Ethereum in another blog a few days ago. I can't really remember the detail, but it was similar positive positive stance on how it could be used between the two and how it bridges the gap.
Yeah, and it's already using SegWit on the Bitcoin side too.
Ah, that's interesting. And it's got its own version of Lightning.
Yeah. So I just think over time this is really going to start pumping.
Yeah, I've read a lot of stuff that's talked about it being undervalued. Yeah, I'm too new. I guess I don't have enough of a sense yet of the value of coins compared to each other, I guess, particularly from a technology perspective.
It's really hard to peg down because this market is so sentiment based that the underlying technology usually doesn't equal growth until some major thing happens and then everybody jumps on board.
Yes, true. Actually, I remember Ink now. I think I actually looked at their website when I read about this originally. But yeah, I agree. It's sentiment and speculation base does make it very, very difficult. But yeah, the bigger ones do tend to come out on top ultimately, I suppose, from when you see the top 10, or maybe they take the sweet time about it, particularly if there's whales on there, or if maybe like Qtum that they don't really advertise any of their wins. So maybe it takes time. But like, I agree with your comment earlier. I like seeing the organic growth, and I like that because I was thinking the same about Burst, 6 weeks ago before it was pumped by the man who shall not be mentioned. I was very much enjoying the organic growth on Burst, and I again quite support that coin and what they're trying to do since it's a rebrand and rehash. And yeah, then it was kind of ruined by this pumping. That organic growth then just disappeared. No, it did come back actually slightly afterwards, so I don't think it ruins it entirely. But yeah, it just ruins my TA if nothing else.
Yeah, no doubt.
Like Bitcoin, immensely irritating. There's all these people in here, but everybody's so quiet. Don't know what's going on. So are you in Qtum now, or are you waiting till it does something spectacular?
I was in Qtum, and then right before all, you know how I was pumping Lunar for weeks, and they had their open beta. Well, the same day their open beta launches, BTC takes a shit and just ruins everything. So, kind of sitting in that right now to see if it pumps back up to where it was, so I can get out.
Yes, I have a nice multitude of those at the moment. But yeah, Lunar, yeah, BQX is on my list of those.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, that wasn't you, so I won't blame you for that. I think I'm just slightly below my buy point, so it's nothing horrendous, but along with everything else.
And they are going to release their universal wallet this quarter, so we're running out of time for the quarter. But it shouldn't be too long.
We've only just started the quarter. What kind of quarter are you thinking about?
Oh yeah, I guess so. 2 months, yep.
It's a while to go, sadly. And there's quite a few like that, and I guess, yeah, I'm just going to have to bite the bullet and hold on now. There's the same, like Burst has a fork at the end of March, I think. There's a few of them I'm holding that have things going on at the end of March, or at least at the end of February, so just got to suck it up for a little while. Look and see what's going on in Telegram and if we need to do any more moderation.
So hard to judge if Bitcoin's going to stay up now. I thought it was a bull trap. So it might be.
Let me have another look. Last I looked, I just saw, oh no, it's green candle again. Maybe just waiting for the advent of more news.
Yeah, I saw Steve Mnuchin, who's our Treasury Secretary, added on a couple hours ago by saying that he wants to raise crypto at the G20 summit. Regulation of it, so.
And people can still consider that a bad thing, don't they?
Yeah, it's kind of weird because regulation is such a broad term. And most of the time when you hear about regulation, they're talking about ICOs, which in my opinion is needed very badly.
Yeah, agreed. 100% agreed after my experience with B token over the last couple of days.
It was as long as.
Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, yeah, as long as they keep their hands out of the exchanges and don't try to manipulate anything. I don't mind if they do more KYC. I think that's good for crypto in general. But anything beyond that, yeah, that's not going to be good for crypto.
I don't know. I mean, the more regulation there is, the more comfortable people will feel entering the market. So I guess that's a good thing.
Right.
But the problem is, unfortunately, they always take it too far, and that's probably the bit that makes me a little bit nervous as to what track they go down. And and even with the discussions that are being had around tax lately, the blockchain could very easily be used to track people for taxation purposes. So that's always it's going to be an interesting road if we go down that road. Yeah, I don't know. I don't even know what it would entail, regulation. I mean, I agree with you on the ICOs, and yeah, that's probably a little more obvious with the know your customer and money laundering and those sorts of things. And also, making sure ICOs are set up appropriately and, aren't just blatantly scamming or using incorrect addresses and have security. And I think is what Japan's doing with the exchanges, which was and one of the news articles I read earlier was about the Japanese authorities going around and actually checking the exchanges have appropriate security in place. I think that's great. That makes people more comfortable.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind them doing that here, America. I would be fine with that.
Yeah, totally. Unfortunately, what the problem was with that and with the associated reporting is that it comes out as something, and that was one of the things that was posted in Telegram, which was part of the reason for the deletions in there, was something along the lines of Japan is cracking down on exchanges and is going to shut them all down. But when I actually had a look at the articles, no, that wasn't the case. Japan is not intending on shutting down the exchanges. And how can they if they've got 3,000 retail outlets accepting crypto and or Bitcoin and or the rest of crypto? They're not going to suddenly shut down all their exchanges when they are the most accepting country of it. So it's fuddy news as usual, misreported.
Japan is big on crypto. Housewives buying stuff with it. And there's no way.
And even Korea. I mean, I think a couple of days before all the Korean news, I'd read something that says something like, I don't know, 40% of Koreans, I can't remember the exact stat or demographic, but it was big. 40% of, I don't know, 18 to 40-year-olds or whatever it was, own some crypto. And again, with that amount of your population owning crypto, how do you propose you're going to stop them trading it entirely? It just seems beyond ridiculous.
I agree. The media just loves a gloom and doom story. And you have to wonder how many of them are writing the article and then hitting buy on Coinbase directly after writing the article.
100%. And I was, I've been thinking and saying that over the last few days. And I've actually, when everybody blaming everything else, I think like somebody wrote, for example, a post on Facebook saying, like something, again, it wasn't very polite, but it was something like, I love the Asians, but seriously, China, Korea, India, can you sort yourselves out or something? And I just responded straight underneath saying, well, I don't think it's so much the countries and what they're doing. It's the fact the media are saying completely the wrong thing. And, the India one yesterday wasn't it, that I read, it was, I've actually seen subsequent news saying that it was misreported. And I think the first headline I saw for that was something along the lines of India's banning cryptocurrency. And then the subsequent media article was that this is taken completely out of context. They're not banning, and the actual statement that had been made was that they are banning the use of it for criminal activity, which is fine. Nobody has a problem with that. Well, at least no criminals have non-criminals have a problem with that. But again, it's just that they, pick your words from the sentence and you can report anything you like.
Absolutely. Yeah, they wrote, India has just ended crypto, and it's like, no, not at all. They didn't say anything like that. But you saw a big dump right after that article went up.
I know, I find it infuriating. And I guess I hope, this is why I guess you'll see me. I'm constantly posting counter news to people's fuddy news, and I don't just argue it. I'll try and find some actual counter news to balance it. And I like to be objective. I don't necessarily think it means that the original news is wrong, but if it's very panicky or sensationalist headlines and those sorts of things, I just think no, it's not. And quite often the person clearly hasn't even read the article. And yeah, that's why I was trying to post something to counterbalance it. Just educating, isn't it, as much as possible?
Yeah, absolutely. Most people are headline readers. They don't read 5 paragraphs into an article. So if you can make a good headline, you can make a 5% turn on the market.
And it's exactly the same with the white papers, isn't it? You just, write a white paper and title it white paper and leave it blank inside, and people will buy your ICO.
Yeah, it's crazy.
The proportions of people doing this, for me, is just beyond belief, really. I just personally don't understand, but then I guess there's all sorts of different people in crypto, and there's an awful lot of people that just want to get rich quick. Yeah.
Yeah, the sad part is you can quite easily now with the set up a scammy ICO. Who knows how many people have made multiple ICOs and run off with the money.
Oh yeah, the scammers can get rich quick. I mean, I'm just talking more about the punters and the people who are getting sucked in by it.
Oh yeah, all the people who bought in at 18K, 19K.
Yeah.
Now they have half their money.
Yeah, I don't know. Or they sold. They sold now, even worse.
Yeah.
It's too easy, and I certainly have done it myself. I've been FOMO'd into many a thing. Not for a while. I think I've learned finally, but it took quite a while for me to learn, and I consider myself relatively smart.
Yeah, it's very hard not to FOMO when you see the same thing other people see, but you get in late. It's like, no, it'll keep going up. I can jump out. Nope. it dumps so quick with all the bots. You always end up getting stuck with a bag.
Yeah, true. I've actually been quite good with those. I don't tend to FOMO into pump and dumps like specifically, but I will FOMO into something that's just been green for quite a while. And just for some reason, I think it's one of those karma things, isn't it? The second I FOMO into it, after having been green for 5 hours, it will go red the next candle.
Yep.
Gotta be some karma going on there. But I guess you got to do it to learn as well. So I've learned not. Analysis in the TA channel.
That short's going down. Hit that support line quite perfectly.
Lisa.
Love your comment, Micah, about admin was handed out to lots of people arbitrarily.
I mean, it was just kind of handed out the first week we were in there. I didn't even know I had admin.
I'm officially blind. Lisa, I got what you wanted, but I'm officially blind now.
Sorry? Say that again. My computer just crashed. Oh, sorry, my Discord just crashed. I thought Micah was replying to me, but I don't know what was going on. So I've missed anything that happened in the last 5 minutes. So what was that?
I went outside and the sun came out and now I'm blind.
It's all my fault. Had to have a decent selfie.
Yeah, it's a really hard one because I couldn't even see the phone. I was just like squinting.
Well, that's okay. Feel free to post. I like selfies, you know this.
There is snow in the background though, so.
Sorry, there is no other background.
There is snow in the background though, so I have proof.
This is good. Still waiting.
Where's it going? Admin channel?
Yeah. Or the lobby, depending on how obscene it is.
It's all right. I can delete it afterwards anyway.
Gonna get up to a foot between now and Monday here in Cleveland.
All right,
Really?
Lobby gets the snow. Dream Team gets the selfie.
Awesome. That's a stunning picture. Oh, Mike, and now you'll have to post. If you've got a foot, you're going to have to post one too.
Oh, I will, for sure.
I'm jealous because, I shouldn't really be jealous. I mean, I'm back in Perth now. It's 31 degrees, but where I'm working is like 40 degrees. So it's insanely hot and it's like the desert. So that white just looks like something in my dreams.
Yeah, it's not so dreamy being outside in -10 wind chill. Believe me.
Yeah, that I can imagine. Whereabouts are you again?
Cleveland, Ohio.
Okay. I have no idea where that is, but okay. I've heard of it.
Up north on Lake Erie, the very top of Ohio.
Okay, cool. Love the picture, Alex. That's very cool.
Very pensive.
Say again?
It's very pensive.
It's very model-esque. You're like pouting.
I couldn't see.
Yeah, I guess, yeah. Squinting your eyes because you're half blind.
I was forced to go outside.
Forced to, yeah, by somebody who's what, like however many thousands of kilometers away.
Yep.
Female
Okay.
persuasion, very powerful thing.
I think so. Given I'm the only female here, it tends to help me out, I think. Use it where you can.
Right.
We do actually. We have one other female in Telegram, don't we? Well, no, there's a couple of females in here. There's Sarah, but I haven't seen her for God knows how long. So the first day she joined, we had a long talk, and I haven't seen her since. And then there's Latasha, isn't there, in Telegram, who I never knew was female until she changed her name to Latasha and put a female picture up.
There's a Sam, right? Another.
Ah, yes, Sam. I'd forgotten about her.
Sam.
She hasn't been